Hey guys, Naders here, and last week I revealed my picks for 1980s characters that I think should be added into MultiVersus. And what comes after the 80s? The 90s, of course, and that just so happens to be the topic of today's video. I've selected 5 movie characters from the 1990s that I think should be added into MultiVersus. I normally don't ask people to subscribe at the beginning of videos, but at the time of recording this, I'm one singular subscriber away from 200, so if you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's first start off with Neo from The Matrix. I watched The Matrix for the first time 2 days ago, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but I had a lot of fun with it. The futuristic element seemed a little trippy to me, but if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. The Matrix, for those who don't know, is a movie about a computer hacker setting out to answer one single question. That question being, what is the Matrix? When he finds the answer to this question, however, his whole perspective on reality changes. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. In last week's video, I introduced my character cards that I have created, but if you didn't watch that video, they are based off of the cards from the MultiVersus website. Here is the one that I made for Neo. If you look over to the lower left, you will see that the special moves I gave him are Arsenal Check and Too Slow. Too Slow is based off of the scene in the movie where Neo is literally moving so fast that he is dodging bullets. I thought this would make a perfect counter move in MultiVersus. If an opponent attacks Neo, Neo can counter it before the move has been landed. Because he is so fast, he can react quickly and fight back. The second move I called Arsenal Check. I got this from a scene in the movie where a wide variety of guns are provided to Neo. I think that he could have a move that allows him to switch what gun he is using, which, yes, means that his moveset would have a lot of gunfire in it. Maybe he could have 3 different gun options, each having their own positives and negatives. Maybe one does a lot of damage, but he can only hit players close range or something like that. He would be able to switch through these guns and use whichever ones he wants to use. I think that if the devs decided to add Neo, they would pull moves out of all the Matrix films, and I myself have only watched the first, so I don't know what kind of moveset potential he has outside of the first movie. However, I do think that Neo needs to be added into this game, and I would be very happy with his inclusion. The second character I chose happens to be The Mask. The Mask is a movie where a man by the name of Stanley Ipkiss discovers a mask which grants him powers. He now can do basically whatever he wants with his identity concealed. The Mask has a ton of moveset potential, but if you look at his character card, the 2 I chose were Tornado Spin and Heart Pound. First, let's go over Tornado Spin. In The Mask, one of the powers that Stanley obtains is a tornado-like spin, which can be comparable to Taz's from Looney Tunes. Even though Taz is already in the game and has his own tornado spin, I think that we can make the masks be a little different. Different both visually and mechanically. Maybe it could deal more damage, but do less knockback or something like that. The second move I titled Heart Pound. This is based off of a scene from the movie where the mask's heart jumps out of his chest. I think that the heart could deal damage to opponents and be a very unique move for MultiVersus. If the Mask is added into MultiVersus, I think that he would fit right in. He has the power of Toon Force, and seeing him with the current cast of characters would be a real treat. The third character that I would like to see in MultiVersus is Grim from Quick Change. Quick Change is a movie about a trio robbing a bank and struggling to escape New York afterwards. While Grim has 3 main looks in the movie, I think that his clown look would be the best default outfit choice. If you look at the character card I made for Grim, you will see that I chose Gun Blast and Dynamite Throw as his special moves. First, let's go over Dynamite Throw. In the movie, Grim threatens a bank guard with an explosive strapped to his chest. The explosive looks very fake, and it probably was considering the movie's premise, but it is later revealed that it is, in fact, dynamite. However, there is only enough dynamite to go around here. Grim is seen to have 14 pieces of dynamite in the movie. I think that Grim could reach under his jacket, pull out a stick of dynamite, light it, and then throw it in a given direction. His number of dynamite, however, would be limited per stock, due to how much damage the dynamite does. I say reach under his jacket because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know if a game rated T could show an explosive vest. So I think the best way around that would be to have him reach under his jacket, pull out a stick of dynamite, and throw it so the vest is never shown, just implied. The second special move, Gun Blast, comes from a scene where he is seen shooting a gun at a security camera. This easily could be its own move, or we could even get a little creative with it. It is shown in the movie that he is a very lousy shot, so maybe instead of actually firing the gun, he could throw the whole gun at his opponent, John Wick style. I originally found out about this movie from a YouTube short, and when I watched it, I wasn't disappointed. The movie is a lot of fun, and I'd love to see it have representation in MultiVersus. The fourth character I chose happens to be none other than Ace Ventura, another character played by Jim Carrey. Ace Ventura is probably the weirdest movie I've ever watched, but I won't lie when I say he has moveset potential. He comes from the movie titled Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. In it, he is hired to locate a stolen dolphin who happens to be really good at scoring field goals. I actually think that the second movie, however, has the most moveset options. If you look over at my character card, you can see that the two special moves I went with are called Monopoly Man and Blowgun. Monopoly Man comes from a scene in the movie where Ace mocks a woman for wearing a fur coat. He knocks out the man she is with, calling him Monopoly Man,
And you must be the Monopoly guy.
and then proceeds to walk around and dance with him a little. I think that Monopoly Man could have a hitbox, and Ace could fling him around a little, maybe even spinning to hit both sides of him. The second special move I chose is called Blowgun. Ace has been seen firing a blowgun, which is a great move idea in my opinion. It gives him a small projectile that allows him to be a little more ranged than the regular bruiser. Ace also should totally be able to use animals as a part of his moveset. He could maybe have a skunk spray move or something. They don't even have to base this move off of the movie. They could just throw an animal attack in and it would fit his character so well that it wouldn't even matter. I think that Ace is super wacky and could be a very out there pick that could please older fans who are familiar with the series. It could be a ton of fun seeing in MultiVersus, and I would love to see him included. For my final pick of this video, I dove deep into the Warner Brothers catalog and pulled out a movie that I didn't even know existed. If you watched my announcement video for this series and looked closely at the list, you'd probably notice that originally this spot was going to go to Lola Bunny. And while I do still think Lola should be added, Space Jam has already had a representative in this game, and I think that her moveset would be more focused on the Looney Tunes TV shows. So I decided to pick a different movie that came out in the 90s, 1994 to be exact. Let's pause the video for just a second. When I say that I dug deep into the Warner catalog to find this next character, I'm not joking. I literally scrolled through all of the 1990s movies made by Warner and New Line Cinema, and then sifted through titles that seemed interesting. And that's how I found all of these characters for this list. Other than The Mask, I hadn't watched any of these movies before making this video. The title that I landed on for this last character is one that I haven't seen spoken about for MultiVersus at all, which is a shame to me. Do I think that the little guy you're about to see will get in? Absolutely not. But do I want him? You bet I do. I ask you to be open-minded and allow me to try to convince you that this little guy should be included. Okay, let's get back to the video. And that movie is Monkey Trouble. Monkey Trouble is a movie about a monkey named Fingers being trained to pickpocket and steal. And yeah, he's pretty darn good at it. But Fingers decides to leave his owner due to him yelling at him. Fingers runs away and meets a little girl who decides to keep him as a pet. The girl renamed him Dodger, though she never even really knew his original name to begin with. I wasn't sure if I would like this movie, but I actually had a ton of fun with it. The monkey in this movie totally steals the show and plays an amazing part. On the character card for Dodger, the special moves showcased are Kite Glide and Gun Blast. You may see a common move throughout this video, and my last, then of course, being Gun Blast. Oh hey, that rhymed. The thing is, a lot of these characters have been seen using guns, and I think that if MultiVersus added them, they could make the moves different enough to where they don't even seem repetitive. I even gave the idea for Grimm where he could throw the gun instead of fire it. You may be wondering, though, about the fact that the monkey has a move titled Gun Blast, and yes, I can inform you that Dodger has been seen shooting a gun. While I'm not sure Dodger meant to fire the gun, he still fired it. It could even be shown in the move animation that it was an accident and that he actually was just playing with the gun and it happened to go off. Or, maybe this monkey is actually just an evil killer. The second move I chose was Kite Glide. I think that this move could work similar to Gizmo's, but a little different. For this move, Dodger would pull out a kite and start gliding forward, the kite dealing damage to foes in front of him. Another move I had thought about is a pickpocket move. Maybe Dodger could have a move where he leaps onto an opponent and takes an item that is important to that specific character series. For example, if Dodger leapt onto Batman, he could steal a Batarang. Dodger could then pass this item onto his teammate or even use it himself. Each item would do the same thing and have the same animation, just a different model. Maybe specific items deal more damage. That could be a little fun. And the item that Dodger gets doesn't even have to be an item already in the game. I suggested a Batarang, which Batman already has as a move, but we could have him pickpocket an item important to their franchise that isn't already a move in the game. Maybe for Gizmo it could be his 3D glasses. Look, if what I just told you doesn't convince you to want to fight for this little guy's inclusion, I don't know what will. From what I can tell, a pickpocket move isn't really something that we've seen in a platform fighter. The only thing that I can think of that would be comparable is Kirby's copy ability, but Dodger would be stealing items, not abilities, so it's not really the same. I think this could make Dodger a hard character to pull off for the devs, but if it were possible, it could be really cool. Due to Dodger being able to give this item to his teammate, I decided to make him a support character. While this movie is super underrated and not well known, I enjoyed it a lot, and I think it would be really neat to have Dodger in MultiVersus. And that brings the 90s list to an end. Thank you so much if you watched the whole video, I really do appreciate it. Next week, I will be revealing my picks for the 2000s movie characters that I think should be added into MultiVersus. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, it would mean a lot, and I will see you all next week.